Hello fellow AFOLs and welcome to Long's Bricks. Today we are taking a look at LEGO Marvel Set 6546714 Cerebro. This was a gift with purchase when you bought the X-Mansion set that came out on November 1st. And it's just kind of a tiny little build here of the Cerebro chamber, and it comes with Charles Xavier here. So the funny thing that I just want to start out with, it came in one of these kind of more boring boxes. This is the one that came with the Botanical Gardens. It's just this kind of yellow box, and then it just has the instruction manual slid in the front. It's kind of boring. I don't know why some things get fancy boxes and some things get boring boxes like that. But here is the instruction manual that's included. You know, kind of goes through everything, not really anything out of the ordinary there. Has the piece count here on the back. Honestly, this is one that you probably could part out yourself. The only printed pieces, I think there's only 2 printed pieces. We'll get into that, but if for some reason you wanted to do this yourself, I'll pause this here for just a second. And then you can just kind of pause the video and zoom in and take part count there. But this is one I definitely think that you could build on your own. I'm going to put Chuck to the side here for the moment. We'll take a closer look at him in a moment. But yeah, it's a neat little build. It's kind of like a little display piece. I think it's neat. I do wish that there was some way it could connect to the X-Mansion, just because, you know, they have that kind of like underground area that, you know, that's kind of the more like tech area. And the one thing, and not to turn this into a review of the X-Mansion, but I definitely think it should have had like 2 floors and then have maybe like a 3rd floor basement. I know that would be hard to build with base plates and everything like that, but it just felt like it should have at least another floor. And the big part of the X-Mansion is, yes, it has the mansion up top, but then, you know, the danger room, the war room, the med bays, all that kind of stuff is underground. The hangar for the Blackbird, that kind of stuff. And the Cerebro chamber is under there as well. So you do have just this kind of basic little build here. You have this big X on the back, if you can see that there. And basically how this works is there is a door. This does open. And you kind of have like a little walkway that Charles could enter through. But I kind of wish that there was like, you know, I mean, I guess you could mod this out yourself and build out like a walkway or something. The other thing that, and I don't know if this is just mine, but I feel like the weight of the door hangs. And so when you go to slide this in, it kind of like, you have to kind of like lift it up to get it to fit in the space. And it also doesn't like fit perfectly. So this piece can actually spin, which I know is kind of neat because I think in one of the movies, like to lock it, it kind of spun around. But so you have the X here, which is just brick built, and that needs to kind of fit in the space here, but it's not a perfect fit. And you'll kind of see this as we come around from this side, and it kind of hits in. You kind of have to like lift it up and also kind of push it over. I don't know. It's a little bit of a clunky mechanism. It's not the best, but I mean, it's cool. You know, I appreciate that it has the door. You have this Cerebro printed brick down here, and then you have this like screen here. Pop this off so we can get a closer look. And you can see it has Jubilee, which was missing from the X-Mansion, so I guess he's searching for her. Maybe this is an Easter egg. Maybe we'll see her in a future set. I sure hope so. I feel like she's the one member of the X-Men 97 cast that we don't have yet in Lego form. But honestly, like I said, you could probably piece this out and build it yourself. The only 2 pieces that are exclusive would be this printed piece and the Cerebro piece. Everything else, I think you could easily just pick up somewhere else and make this yourself if you wanted to, if you didn't want to bother with the X-Mansion, or if you found the X-Mansion somewhere cheaper and decided to not get it from Lego to miss out on the gift with purchase. There's not really much else to this, unfortunately. Now, these pieces on the side, you can move around a little bit if you kind of like the look of maybe bringing this in a little bit more to make it like a smaller cube. You could definitely do that. It's up to you. You have a little bit of customization there. But that's really it. There's not really a ton of features on this. It's really more like a diorama set. Like, it feels like one of those like little Star Wars diorama sets where, you know, put this on a shelf, put this on a bookshelf, maybe your desk at work, something like that. And it's just, you know, Chaz hanging out here. They don't even have like a helmet for him or anything like that. There's no way for him to kind of connect to it. I feel like they should have done something like that. I think it would have been cooler if they could have done it. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? I mean, if they had done something where like you could enclose the whole dome, it doesn't display that well, or maybe they could have had it closed and like the whole thing opens up, but you could close it if you want to. That way you could kind of like, you know, look at it from this and see like everything around, or maybe show like it closed around but have a screen with different, you know, characters, mutants that he's looking for, things like that. I don't know. It feels like they could have done more. It's just a little gift with purchase. And I saw a couple people online kind of saying like, I'm not going to bother buying this day one. This isn't that great. And I can understand that. I mean, I think it's neat and I'm glad to have it. But just overall, it definitely feels like something you could just build yourself. There's not really anything here, with the exception of the 2 printed pieces. There's nothing wildly spectacular about this, unfortunately. It's just kind of like a little display piece. But let's take a closer look at the Charles Xavier minifigure. So here is Charles Xavier, and I have to admit, I feel like this figure's a little underwhelming. I feel like this is another thing where you could put this minifigure together yourself. There's nothing really exclusive to this figure. It feels like they just reused whatever pieces they had around. The wheelchair is fine. You know, it's a standard wheelchair piece from Lego in light gray. They didn't give him his like fancy hover chair. Now, I will say in the set, the X-Mansion set, you do get the chair. And I have to say the chair is built pretty well. And I do really like how that came out. I can understand why they didn't want to put it here, just to keep it a little different. But maybe they could have built something a little different, because I know he's had different wheelchairs throughout the history of the comics and the movies and things like that. Maybe they could have found a way to put some kind of X on the wheels or something like that, just to make it a little unique. But unfortunately not the case. So if we take him out of the wheelchair and just stand him up here, it feels very kind of basic in terms of the outfit. It's just like a vest with tie, black pants, no printing or anything. And I honestly feel like his head is like an angry standard clone head. Like, I really don't think there's any part of this that is that exciting or exclusive. And I don't know, just feels kind of a bummer. Like, this was just kind of something, it feels kind of slapped together. So it's a fine minifigure. And, you know, if you look at it, it doesn't make you think of Charles Xavier right away. But at the same time, there's nothing to make it not Charles Xavier. It's just a bald guy in a suit, vest, and a tie, which again, it's Lego. I understand they're not going to print a brand new head or anything like that, but I mean, I guess they do sometimes, but I can understand wanting to reuse it. I just feel like they could have done something, or maybe like give us the iconic green suit from the cartoon, since again, they didn't do that. Just to slide him in here again, they just went with kind of a basic blue suit for this one. So maybe this was the way to get the green suit, and that would make this set more desirable, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. The minifigure, it's fine. Something wrong with it. It's just not terribly exciting. So yeah, this one's a little difficult for me to kind of put my feelings into words. When I first saw it announced, I thought it was really neat, and I was really excited to get it. And so I bought the X-Mansion on day one. Got this, you know, right away, wanted to put it together. I did a stop motion. I'll put a link to that at the end of this if you want to check that out. But then once I had it built, I don't know, I was kind of disappointed. Like, the way the door mechanism is a little clunky, that kind of let me down. I feel like that could have been done better. You know, the Charles minifigures, just some reused pieces, which again, I get it, and it's fine, and it looks like Charles Xavier, but it's not so exciting, and you definitely could just kind of put it together yourself. I really think you could use pieces you already have to get, you know, either this exact minifigure or something close enough. Honestly, the whole set, I feel like, with the exception of the 2 printed pieces, you could really just go on, you know, BrinkLink or somewhere and just kind of get the pieces to put this together yourself. There's not anything too spectacular. It also really has like no features whatsoever, with the exception of the door opening, and that one doesn't work that well. So if you just want a cool little Cerebro for a bookshelf or a desk, you know, just kind of display piece, this is fine. I think it could have been done a little bit better, make it a little bit more exciting, do something to make you really need to have this. Because kind of as it stands right now, if you find the X-Mansion on like a Black Friday sale and it's crazy good deal, I wouldn't feel too terrible about missing out on this. I mean, like I said, you could always build one yourself, get the pieces and build it yourself. Otherwise, I don't think it's something that if you miss out on it, you're going to be terribly upset. I like it. I'm glad I have it. I'm happy to have it. But I feel like I was excited more for the idea of it, and then when I got it in hand, I was a little let down. I don't really know what I was expecting, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just once you have it in hand, it doesn't really do anything. There's no way to connect it to the X Mansion. The minifigure's kind of bland. Just a little bit of a letdown in my opinion, but let's put it this way. I definitely wouldn't go on the secondary market and pay crazy prices for this. If you happen to get one because you bought the X Mansion right away because you were excited for that, great. It's fun to have, and that's kind of how I feel. But I definitely wouldn't go pay crazy prices for this on the aftermarket. I'd just piece one out and build it yourself. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.